Hi guys, Eternal Darkness 94 here. It's been a while since I did one of my little theory, rant, ramble video things, so I decided it was about time I did one again. This one is Homestuck related. Now, my three favorite characters are Carcat, Cronus, and Dave. I actually cosplay as them as well. That's beside the point. A lot of people have been giving me hell for loving Cronus as much as I do, and pretty much a lot of it is because my favorite movie is Grease, but I also understand his character a lot. And I was doing some pretty heavy thinking while I was out on one of my 2 daily walks earlier, and I just realized a huge fact that a lot of people don't realize that explains the weird, Haiti friendship between Cronus and Mituna. And it also hits the nail on the head as to why nobody knows what happened to Mituna. The first thing you should know is that Cronus and Mituna were Moirels since practically Grubhood. That's canon. They were vacillating between red and pale, or at least Cronus was, at the time of the accident. Which means emotionally they have a very deep bond, though part of it was one-sided since Mituna was mate spirits with Tulip the whole time, and Cronus was hiding it because he didn't want to hurt Mituna. So Cronus is hit by a lot of that. The second factor is that Cronus is a bard. That means that he's an accidental asshole, really, by default, because of that class. You can easily understand why it would be worse because of the fact that he was heartbroken. Now, the realization that I had is this, and I already knew their classes, but if John is an heir and Mituna is an heir, then Mituna's tragedy must have happened in a doomed alternate reality. He would have had to have done what John did with using those canonly untapped heir powers and altered reality suddenly enough to fix things. He would have had to do this by himself because despite the fact that he acts really immature and slow and skater dude all the time, he's actually really, really smart. He's even smarter than Solix. It's just the opposite of his young counterpart. He's extremely modest. So in order to fix reality solo, he would have had to use up most of his powers. He would have had to slowly and painfully drain his psionics to pop each little portion of the past in order to fix things that needed to be fixed so that the reality would no longer be doomed. For the final leap, in order to put himself back into the fixed reality, he would have had to drain the last bit of his psionic power, resulting in his brain damage and his inability to tell anyone what happened. And since everyone is different from who they would have been in the doomed reality, and Mituna's aspect is doom, he would have doomed himself to never being able to tell them what truly happened, and to be eternally misunderstood by saving them from their doom. And this really just means that Cronus sees the same guy he's been best friends with for all of forever. He would have no idea why he cries and breaks down all the time, and obviously Mituna himself can't tell him. So the playful jibes and flirtation that they always did together and were just kind of their thing would have turned into a lot of insults. It's not like Cronus can actually see Mituna's faded red and blue eyes or the scars on his face through his helmet and hair. He would have no idea why Mituna is suddenly different and would probably go into denial that he's hurt and just try to pass it off as one of the younger captor's childish pranks. I say younger, you get what I mean. I feel like since that's the Mituna that Cronus fell for, / was Moirels with, throughout their whole lives, he still tries to uphold the friendship as hard as he can, even though, canonly, there are normal instances of Mituna everywhere that never went through the tragedy. He puts himself through pain and heartbreak every day just to talk to him. He doesn't mean to hurt him. He himself is just hurt and angry. And something that a lot of people don't understand is that Mituna is not hated by Cronus. Cronus hates no one. Well, scratch that. Cronus hates himself because he wasn't there to save his best friend from whatever unknown tragedy destroyed him. And on another thing, Cronus does make it clear in the comic that he isn't really attracted to other trolls because he's human-kin to otherkin, you know? His flirtatious habits and the nasty remarks he makes are actually a form of self-destruction that people in the real world deal with every day due to depression. That depression would cause him a desperation to fill the emptiness he feels from losing his best friend by any means possible. In other words, he's an asshole because he hates himself. He's destroying himself to try to fix himself because he's so depressed. He's not a bad troll or a jerk or a bad character at all. He's just really, really hurt, and nobody really understands why. I figure nobody would understand why the Moira Agents just kind of broke and shattered the way it does. Or did. Does, whatever. It's current. Because nobody else knows what happened to Mituna either. Anyways, I'm always going to love Cronus, and I hope that hearing this helps a lot of you guys out there stop viewing Cronus as such a big jerk, because he really isn't. Thanks for listening, guys. Eternal Darkness 94, out.